Let us for a few moments meditate on Sri Ramakrishna and pray for love and devotion. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna-The Namah Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, who established spirituality, who is the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, how Sri Ramakrishna has given the nectar of spiritual ideas. It could be practiced by anybody who really wants to seek truth. Sri Ramakrishna himself personified spirituality. All his sayings, all his activities, all through his life, he was personification of spirituality. One most remarkable nature we find in Sri Ramakrishna when we study his life, when we read his teachings in the Gospel, we find Sri Ramakrishna personifying love. Today's topic I am wanted to speak on Prema Rupa Sri Ramakrishna. His eyes were full of love and affection. His utterances were full of love and affection. All his instructions are based on love and affection. So we find once people come to Sri Ramakrishna, they would love to come and see him again and again. Swami Vivekananda has observed Sri Ramakrishna was love personified. Out of his profound compassion, for humanity. Sri Ramakrishna incarnated himself as the embodiment of love. He took away all the baseness and pettiness and worthlessness occupying the mind of the people. And by the alchemy of his grace, Sri Ramakrishna transformed them in a most wonderful way to be worthy of sanctification and redemption. Referring to Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda said, Acharya Shankar, who advocated Advaita philosophy, had a great head. That means he was the personification of jnana, intellect, knowledge. And another great person, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose birthday we will be observing in the month of April, he was a personification of heart. Full of love. And the time was ripe for one to be born in this modern age, the embodiment of both this head and heart. One whose heart would weep for the poor, for the weak, for the outcast, for the downtrodden, for everyone in this world. Whose grand, brilliant intellect would conceive of such noble thoughts as would harmonize all conflicting sects. Swami Vivekananda confessed, it is Sri Ramakrishna's love for me that binds me to him. Purity, unselfishness, God consciousness, renunciation, etc., reached the high watermark of excellence in Sri Ramakrishna's life. Still, it was unbounded love for man that was the most distinguishing feature of his divine character. There's a famous Sanskrit hymn called Dayashtaka, composed by a great Vaishnava saint. He says there, he prays to God, O compassion of the Lord. All these merits of the Lord, like knowledge, strength, lordliness, potency, and energy, will become flaws if they are to be without you. Sri Ramakrishna's infinite compassion for suffering humanity alone responsible for his coming down from the blessed state of samadhi. Love craves communion with the beloved as the first need of love. To draw close to the devoted souls was a tremendous urge in Sri Ramakrishna, and to guide them in spiritual life was his great hunger and thirst. The cradle of the universe is rocked by self-sacrifice. Sri Ramakrishna's intense desire to share his spiritual knowledge with the devotees is a testimony to the depth of the sacrificing urge in him. Sometimes in the evening, when the temple garden of Dakshineshwar echoed with the sound of bell and conch, during Arati time, Sri Ramakrishna would cry out at the top of his voice, writhing in anguish, to get his devotees near him. He would cry, "Come, my boys, where are you? I can't bear to live without you. Please come quickly." This intensity of the desire to elevate people seeking after truth, the force of this throbbing sympathy of his for the bound ones, this irrepressible love for aspirants, thrill us even today when we read of them. We stand rooted in wonder and reverence, thinking, can secular love come near to this? The passion for the vision of God, which swayed Sri Ramakrishna in his earlier years, was repeated as this burning love for the devotees in his later years. There never was a godly man so mad after God, or a worldly man so mad after the world as Sri Ramakrishna was mad for God and man. His love for God and his concern for men ran parallel. He made Narendranath, Swami Vivekananda, a fit instrument for disseminating to the world his spiritual message of love. His unbounded love knew no distinctions, no limitations, and it demanded nothing in return. Sri Ramakrishna has shown through his life how one should cherish love towards God. When you totally rely upon him, when you love him wholeheartedly, then God himself will take care of everything about you. You don't have to ask for anything at all. Sri Ramakrishna's love for his great spiritual children is easily understandable. But that same love was extended to those who are weak, impure and downtrodden. Sri Ramakrishna had a few unappreciative acquaintances who believed that he captivated young men and turned them away from mundane interests. Once Sri Ramakrishna was visiting one of his devotees in North Calcutta. Devotional songs were being sung in the house of the host. The master was listening with rapt attention. But all of a sudden, he was in another mood. Sri Ramakrishna got up and quickly came down the stairs. Sri Ramakrishna was in a different mood. He suddenly said, "Who has come here to beat me? Come along. Come near me. Beat me. Beat me." Like that, Sri Ramakrishna was saying loudly. Everyone was surprised how Sri Ramakrishna came to know what would happen. The thing was, there was a ruffian by name Manmath. He was hired by some people who were jealous of Sri Ramakrishna to do physical violence to Sri Ramakrishna so that he would no more think of paying visits to that part of the city. That fellow was standing on the street. That ruffian saw the master. For the first time he was seeing Sri Ramakrishna, and that was enough. He stood dumbfounded, and a profound spiritual transformation came on him. Gradually but surely, he was completely changed. And he began to frequent Dakshineshwar for spiritual instruction. There is an incident of Mathur Babu, the proprietor of the temple estates. He had a family priest. His name was Haldar. This gentleman again was jealous of Sri Ramakrishna. He thought that Sri Ramakrishna had won over the mind of Mathur Babu through some magical charms. So, once Sri Ramakrishna paid a visit to Mathur Babu's house, Haldar found out that Sri Ramakrishna had gone to Mathur's home. He immediately ran there. Then he was pestering Sri Ramakrishna for a charm-like mantra by which he could captivate the minds of influential people. When he was making such requests, Sri Ramakrishna used to say that it was the grace of the Divine Mother and not any magical formula that brought devotees to Dakshineshwar. There is no magic here. But Haldar was adamant in his demand. He was even threatening Sri Ramakrishna with dire consequences. At last, Haldar became so angry, he was speaking ill of the master, using offensive language. In spite of all this, Sri Ramakrishna remained calm and quiet. Haldar did not tolerate. He kicked him with his leg. Sri Ramakrishna, the ocean of mercy that he was, did never mention the incident to anyone at the time. Later on, Mathur Babu dismissed Haldar for a serious negligence of his duty. Mathur Babu informed Sri Ramakrishna about it. It was then the master disclosed about the rude behavior of Haldar to him, which happened a few days back. Naturally, Mathur Babu was shocked to hear it. And he said, "Oh father, why did you not inform me of it at that time itself? I would have chopped off his head." The significant reply of the master speaks volumes for his humility and compassion. The master replied, "You see, Haldar really believed me to be the possessor of some magic charm. I tried my best to remove this false idea from his mind, but I could not do it. Swami Chidananda, a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, commenting on this, he said, you see, our Lord had different moods. With respect to Haldar, Sri Ramakrishna was not in the mood of the Guru transforming the disciple. In relation to him, he was like an ordinary devotee who must see the Lord in the poor, in the ignorant, in the wicked. Once Sri Ramakrishna was invited to attend a religious ceremony of the Brahma Samaj at Nandan Bagan. After the ceremony, dinner was to be served, but the hosts were so engaged in their different types of activities, they never paid any attention to Sri Ramakrishna and his group. So, in a way, the master was totally neglected. Those who accompanied him, Rakhal, Swami Brahmananda and others, they were very much pained to see that. And they wanted Sri Ramakrishna to return to Dakshineshwar immediately. But Sri Ramakrishna again was calm and unruffled. He persuaded them to wait for the dinner. At last, some food became available with much difficulty. And to the last, no proper attention was paid to the master and his followers. Well, Sri Ramakrishna could not take anything of the food as the servers were men of questionable character. After the dinner, when the question of paying the fare for the carriage arose, the hosts grumbled and made a short payment. Sri Ramakrishna not only bore all these insults in a cheerful mood, but also blessed the hosts. He just drank little water as a token of taking something in the home. It was his infinite grace that led the master to forgive them and ensure the family's welfare. It would have been injurious for the family concerned if a holy man had gone away without being served food, being insulted. The pages of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna contain innumerable anecdotes about the unbounded and infinite love of Sri Ramakrishna. Whenever Vivekananda would come to his room, immediately he would stand up and go and feed him with sweets and other delicious dishes. He was so fond of people who would come to him for spiritual teachings. He just gave them love. And he made it a point that through love one can reach God very easily, quickly, without any complication. It is very easy to love. His love gave solace to one and all, high and low, good and bad. There is a case of Rasik, the outcast, on whom Sri Ramakrishna showered his benign grace, and that of the poor gardener of Dakshineshwar, whom he blessed with a divine vision, are typical examples of his motherly affection and of his warm love for the depressed and the lowly. The case of Girish Chandra Ghosh is of course very remarkable and is of a class by itself. This noted dramatist, writer and actor was a thorough bohemian. He himself confessed in his sober moods that there was no sin which he had not committed. Notwithstanding his utter depravity, Sri Ramakrishna redeemed him by the sheer force of his endless love. Girish always felt that this case was not that of the prodigal son penitently returning to the home of the father, but that of the father going forth in search of the son who had sinned. It was out of his abundant love again that Sri Ramakrishna often went to the devotees' houses in Calcutta in spite of his frail health and other inconveniences. Sri Ramakrishna's divine presence acted like a fresh breeze over the stagnant pools of the wasted lives of worldly minded men. Everyone who came near him went away refreshed, invigorated, and transformed. It is not everywhere that the master was duly honored, but even when his character was assailed, or his purity was questioned, or he was foully maligned, the master never reacted. How could it be possible for all the soulless creatures who were tormented by world desires and selfish urges to appreciate the beauty of this divine life? Notwithstanding sufferings and humiliations, Sri Ramakrishna jumped down from the summit of his samadhi back to the earth to solve the problems of his devotees with a rare sense of charity aflame in his soul. Sri Ramakrishna, being love, the whole love and nothing but love, has made man the heir to this invaluable treasure of his love. His love is all inclusive. It is purer than flawless holiness, surer than unerring wisdom, and stronger than irresistible omnipotence, richer than inexhaustible goodness. Love is a fundamental instinct or impulse, the ceaseless vital breath of the soul, with a wakefulness that knows no fatigue, and with a personal interest that suffers no slackness. Sri Ramakrishna served to the last his devotees, in spite of an excruciating pain in the throat. The remarkable calmness with which Sri Ramakrishna bore the pain of cancer in order to awaken spiritual power in his devotees was something extraordinary. He seemed to melt in love. Sri Ramakrishna said to Mahendra, had this body, meaning himself, been allowed to last a little longer, many more people would have been spiritually awakened. Sri Ramakrishna underwent a crucifixion in order to redeem suffering men. From one point of view, man is the most cruel of all creatures on earth. His inhumanity to man has been the cause of the world's suffering. It's because of selfishness. The more the man becomes worldly, the more selfish he becomes. The more selfish, the more suffering. Sri Ramakrishna taught men how to love. It's only love that can overcome evil through good. This was vindicated in his life. That God is a fountain of love from which flow down streams of sympathy, affection, and compassion in order to revive drooping souls is what is once again made explicit in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. To put it in the words of Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna's stream of love flowed with resistless might, even to the outcast. He never was engaged in doing good to the world in any wrong way. He he was ever engaged in doing good to the world, though he was superhuman by nature. So, refuge do I seek of the Guru, Sri Ramakrishna, who is the physician that cures the malady of relative existence, who is a billow riser, as it were, on the vast sea that is power, who has shown to us men various sports of love divine, who is a weapon sure that annihilates the demon doubt. Sri Ramakrishna has very emphatically said, love of God is the essential thing. If you give your pure love, you'll be able to realize God, who is the personification of purity. And Sri Ramakrishna, through his life, has given the experience of what exactly pure love means, what it is to be selfless, how a person of realization would manifest selfless love. In Sri Ramakrishna you find the maximum manifestation of pure love that would encompass everybody in the universe. Love is the greatest thing. The path of love, the path of devotion, that is bhakti. Sri Ramakrishna has shown us how one should devote oneself to God. If you are a real devotee, then all your actions will be an offering to God. And you will be blessed whatever you do, since you feel you are the instrument of God, you are just a channel for God's power to flow through. So let us try to dwell upon the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. Every page, how Sri Ramakrishna was praying to Divine Mother, full of love. Radha Prema, how he has shown one should read and meditate upon them. Then one would feel certainly drawn towards the divine. So love is a magnetic force. Through love, we can reach God very quickly. Page 758. Trailokya said, why Chaitanya himself protested against the idea of divine incarnation. Once in Puri, Advaita and the other devotees sang a song to the effect that Chaitanya was God. At this, Chaitanya shut the door of his room. Infinite are the glories of God, as he, meaning Sri Ramakrishna, says, the devotee is the parlor of God. Suppose a parlor is very well furnished. Does that mean that the master of the house has exhausted all his power and splendor in that one parlor? Girish said, he, meaning Sri Ramakrishna, says that prema alone is the essence of God, on which I just spoke just now. Prema, that is love. We need the man through whom this ecstatic love of God flows. He says that the milk of the cow flows through the udder. We need the udder. We don't care for the other parts of the cow, the legs, tail or horns. Trailokya said, the milk of God's prema flows through an infinite number of channels. God has infinite powers. Girish, But what other power can stand before prema? Trailokya. It is possible if he who has the power wants it. Everything is in God's power. Girish. Yes, I admit that. But there is also a thing called the power of avidya. Trailokya. Is avidya a thing? Does there exist a substance called avidya? It is only a negation, as darkness is a negation of light. There is no doubt that we praise prema most. What's a drop to God is an ocean to us. But if you say that prema is the last word about God, then you limit God. Then you are limiting God himself. Master said to Trailokya and other devotees, yes, that is true. But an ounce of wine makes me drunk. What need have I to count the gallons of wine in the tavern? What need have we to know about the infinite powers of God? Girish said to Trailokya, do you believe in the incarnation of God? Trailokya answered, God incarnates himself through his devotees alone. There cannot be a manifestation of infinite powers. It simply is not possible. It is impossible for any man to manifest infinite powers. Girish said, you can serve your children as Brahma, Gopala. Then why is it not possible to worship a great soul as God? Master said to Trailokya, why all this bother about infinity? If I want to touch you, must I touch your entire body? If you want to bathe in the Ganges, must you touch the whole river from Haridwar down to the ocean? All troubles come to an end when the ego dies. As long as a trace of I consciousness remains, one is conscious of difference. Nobody knows what remains after the I disappears. Nobody can express it in words. That which is remains. After the I disappears, one cannot say that a part manifests through this man and the rest through another. Satchidananda is the ocean. The part of I is immersed in it. As long as the part exists, the water seems to be divided into two parts. One part inside the part and the other part outside. But when the part is broken, there is only one stretch of water. One cannot even say that. Who would say that? After the discussion, Sri Ramakrishna became engaged in pleasant conversation with Trailokya. Master said, you are happy, isn't that so? Trailokya answered, but I shall become my old self again as soon as I leave this place. Here I feel very much the awakening of spiritual consciousness. Master said, you don't have to be afraid of walking on thorns if you are wearing shoes. You need not be afraid of lust and gold if you know that God alone is real and all else illusory. It was about 9 o'clock in the evening. Balram took Trailokya to another room and gave him refreshments. Sri Ramakrishna began to tell the devotees about Trailokya and people of his views. Master said to Girish, M. and other devotees, do you know what these people are like? They are like a frog living in the well, who has never seen the outside world. He knows only his well, so he will not believe that there is such a thing as the world. Likewise, people talk so much about the world because they have not known the joy of God. To Girish, Sri Ramakrishna said, why do you argue with them so much? They busy themselves with both the world and God. One cannot understand the joy of God unless one has tasted it. Can anybody explain sex pleasure to a 5-year-old boy? Worldly people talk about God only from hearsay. Children, hearing their old aunts quarreling among themselves, learn to say, there is my God, I swear by God. But that doesn't matter. I don't blame such people. Can all comprehend the indivisible Satchidananda? Only 12 rishis could recognize Ramachandra. All cannot recognize the incarnation of God. Some take him for an ordinary man, some for a holy person, and only a few recognize him as an incarnation. One offers a price for an article according to one's capital. A rich man said to his servant, "Take this diamond to the market and let me know how different people price it. Take it first of all to the eggplant seller." The servant took the diamond to the eggplant seller. He examined it, turning over in the palm of his hand, and said, "Brother, I can give 9 shares of eggplants for it." "Friend," said the servant, "a little more, say 10 shares." The eggplant seller replied, "No, I have already quoted above the market price. You may give it to me if that price suits you." The servant laughed. He went back to his master and said, "Sir, he would give me only 9 shares of eggplants and not one more." He said he had offered more than the market price. The master smiled and said, "Now take it to the cloth dealer. The other man deals only in eggplants. What does he know about a diamond? The cloth dealer has a little more capital. Let us see how much he offers for it." The servant went to the cloth dealer and said, "Will you buy this? How much will you pay for it?" The merchant said, "Yes, it's a good thing. I can make a nice ornament out of it. I will give you 900 rupees for it." "Brother," said the servant, "offer a little more and I will sell it to you. Give me at least 1,000 rupees. The cloth dealer said, "Friend, don't press me for more. I have offered more than the market price. I cannot give a rupee more. Suit yourself." Laughing, the servant returned to his master and said he won't give a rupee more than 900. He too said he had quoted above the market price. The master said with a laugh, "Now take it to a jeweler. Let us see what he has to say." The servant went to a jeweler. The jeweler glanced at the diamond and said at once, "I will give you 100,000 for it." They talk of practicing religion in the world. Suppose a man is shut up in a room. All the doors and windows are closed. Only little light comes through a hole in the ceiling. Can he see the sun with that roof over his head? And what will he do with only one ray of light? Lust and gold is the roof. Can one see the sun unless he removes the roof? Worldly people are shut up in a room, as it were. The incarnations of God belong to the class of the Ishwar Kotis. They roam about in the open spaces. They are never imprisoned in the world, never entangled by it. Their ego is not the thick ego of worldly people. The ego, the I consciousness of worldly people, is like 4 walls and a roof. The man inside them cannot see anything outside. The ego of the incarnations and other Ishwar Kotis is a thin ego. Through it they have an uninterrupted vision of God. Take the case of a man who stands by a wall on both sides of which there are meadows stretching to infinity. If there is a hole in the wall, through it he can see everything on the other side. If the hole is a big one, he can even pass through it. The ego of the incarnations and other Ishwar Kotis is like the wall with a hole. Though they remain on this side of the wall, still they can see the endless meadow on the other side. That's to say, though they have a human body, they are always united with God. Again, if they will, they can pass through the big hole to the other side and remain in Samadhi. And if the hole is big enough, they can go through it and come back again. That is to say, though established in Samadhi, they can again descend to the worldly plane. The devotees listened breathlessly to these words about the mystery of divine incarnation. That completes the chapter 39. Next Tuesday I'll have to start the chapter 40. The master at the houses of Balram and Girish. Any question? One should definitely cherish faith. Faith is very essential in spiritual culture. But you can understand the glory of faith when you maintain purity. If I don't do that, something might happen. So that psychological effect, that forces the man to become superstitious. If you are not afraid of anything, then why should you be superstitious at all? So what happens, it's all habit, See, it starts with some people with good intention, they do some things and they establish some traditions and conventions. And later on, the later generations, they don't know the value and significance of those traditions and conventions, so they become superstitious. But anyway, if your intention is good, then everything turns out good. But superstitions are dangerous, undoubtedly. I don't know whether I told you the incident which happened in a village in Bangalore. Did I tell you that? We have adopted poor villages in Bangalore for uplifting the village people. We have established school, etc. And so we would take doctors every weekend, mobile dispensary, etc. There was one girl, young lady, who has got a child. She got diarrhea, simple disease, diarrhea. And so it was not stopped, though they were trying various medicines. And one of our Swamis who would go there every day, almost every day, he found that this lady was suffering from. He made arrangement to take that lady to the hospital in Bangalore. She was admitted there. The doctor treated her. It was controlled. And then the doctor said, now nothing to worry, but you should be careful, etc., etc. He gave some instructions, and she was sent back. And she went back home. And then after some time, again she developed that sensation of motion. And the villages, they could have easily contacted a doctor, or they could have contacted the Swami, but the Swami was in Bangalore, and there is no telephone. The village, from village to, there is no communication. One has to come through messenger. Anyway, and that village, village people are full of superstition. They thought, oh, she is possessed by some kind of ghost or something. So you bring her, I will do some chantings, and I will see that ghost is removed from her body. Then she'll be all right. There was a priest, and this poor guy had one goat. And the priest said, you give that goat there, you sacrifice the goat, and you bring her there. Then he asked them to come to a secluded place it was a forest area. And that village man and the other nearby neighborhood people, about 5, 6, 10 people, they gathered. They all took her there. All through going, everyone was beating her, with twigs to drive away the ghost. She was crying and crying and crying. In the meantime, the message came to the Swami that that lady who was treated in the hospital is suffering now. Please come immediately. And the Swami thought. Then he consulted the doctor. He took a drug, special type of drug. So if it given immediately, it should be all right. With that drug, he went. By the time he went, where to find them? And finally he came, the other villagers, they said, they have gone this way, they have gone this way, like that. Finally they reached the place. By the time they reached the place, what had happened? The lady had died because of severe beating. She was already weak. And she was beaten to death actually. She died. And the goat was sacrificed. The poor guy had one very good goat. That goat also was sacrificed there. That's how he ended up. Simple drug would have cured her. This is called superstition, village superstition. So, people have to suffer for that. People have to suffer. This also, thinking world to be real, that's a superstition. This world is not real. The more you think world is real, the more you are suffering. The more you suffer. Simply you suffer. Suffering ends only when you get rid of superstition. This world is not real, God is real. How do you know? The divine men of spirituality have said, men of realization have said, saints and sages have said, so it is. You can experience that. You should experience that. It's called aparoksha jnana, direct experience of truth. The other knowledge, what we are all having, is called paroksha jnana, indirect knowledge, lower type of knowledge. Apara. The supreme knowledge, the divine knowledge, is called paravidya. So like that. We shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, taking his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or revenue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, but thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good guide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding beauty of all sacred works, be satisfied. For, he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.